It's Thursday. That means we have a vet on hand to answer your pet questions. So if you have a question or a problem with your pet, you can give us a call right now. The number is 460-KJRH. As always, it's Dr. Joe Landers here to answer your questions, and he's brought along Smokey this morning, right?
Yep, Smokey's about 9 weeks old or so. We've had him for a little bit. He was kind of, I was telling you, he was the scrappy little runt, and he was kind of dropped off with some others, and he was sort of on the end of the chow line, but now he's doing very, very well. He will be a good mouser little guy. He loves to run and jump. And
kind of playful?
Yeah, I said Jack in the Box because a couple of times he tries to jump here and do stuff. So, but he's doing very good. So.
Maybe he just doesn't like being on TV, you think?
Maybe. The car ride wasn't the most exciting thing either for him, but he's doing fine.
Good deal. We'll tell you where to find Smokey in just a moment. First, though, let's go to the phones. And first up today, we have Michael in Catoosa. Good morning, Michael.
How are you today?
Good. What's your question?
I have a Jack Russell that's about 2 years old, and we rescued him from a couple that was living in a car, and we haven't been able to afford to get the shots because we're so strapped right now. But we have wondered about signs of distemper because we're scared to death that this thing's going to get distemper. She's such a nice dog.
Right.
Is there any early onset signs of distemper we can look for?
Well, actually, distemper is sort of I mean, I don't want to make this into a dissertation on distemper, but it's actually kind of a two disease. A lot of times it actually starts looking like a cold, and then it turns into kind of a neurologic deal. So most of the time you get distemper directly from other dogs. So until you can get some shots or whatever, you don't want to mix them too much, especially any stray dogs or dogs that have just, say, come from the pound or kennels or other places. But those are important, and I'll tell people there's a lot of different vaccination clinics and things, but I would certainly kind of tell you to do that, because a lot of times there's some diseases that are very preventable that once you get them. Distemper, actually, the second part of that disease, they can have tics and kind of seizures forever. So I mean, basically you can't get rid of it. It's stuck in their neurologic system, and then that's it. So, but there's a real good vaccine out there, so don't be scared by that. But there's definitely a good reason to vaccinate. So.
All right, next up is Joe in Tulsa. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning.
Hi.
What's your question?
Well, I have an 11-year-old cat, and he's been an indoor cat the whole time I've had him. And he throws up a lot.
Okay.
He, like 4 or 5 times a week, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day.
Sure.
And I was wondering if something might be wrong with him.
Well, I mean, it could be. Now, sometimes that can be kind of natural. Some cats will actually kind of eat too fast, or they don't digest real well, especially as they get older, and they'll start throwing up a time or two here and there. One thing I'd suggest is you have him kind of looked at, make sure that there's no parasites. Although he's been inside, that's pretty low, probably low on the list. But as they get older, they can have some thyroid problems, some other things that can make them kind of intermittently throw up that you might think it's like the food or something, and it sure could be the food, but there's a lot of possibilities. That's something, the very first thing is have your veterinarian kind of look at him, weigh him, and feel him, make sure there's nothing just obvious there, and then kind of delve into the different reasons for kind of vomiting. So.
Yeah, my mom's cat had that same problem, and it was eating too much food, apparently.
Yes.
So
that can be one too, the kind of overeating,
Sure. Let's go to Pam next in Sapulpa. Good morning, Pam.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. What's your question?
Okay, this kind of follows up with the previous one. We have a 6-year-old cat who they're treating what they think is inflammatory bowel disease with prednisone and a limited diet. Is there anything else we need to be aware of or can help in that process?
Right. Most of the time, that's kind of the mainstay of inflammatory bowel disease. Inflammatory bowel disease, I mean, to truly prove it or disprove it, a lot of times you do a biopsy, but a lot of times response to treatment, and sometimes sometimes if they don't respond as well to diet and prednisone, there is like a shot that you can give that's a little bit more powerful and some different deals, and sometimes there's actually some antibiotics that you can give to help as well. So most of the time it's finding what they do well on to keep them from kind of flaring up. It's really trying to prevent the flare-up. So, but it sounds like they're on the right track. So.
All right, we're out of time, but if you'd like to adopt Smokey, call Animal Aid at 744-8280 or log on to animalaid.org.